Courage is the ability to do something even though it frightens you. It is about being brave. Hi, I'm Teja Priyadarshini, founder for Akashic Center for Healing, and today we're talking about courage. Most of us don't know that we have courage, and we often think that we are very weak and we lack the courage to do things. But that's not true. There are different kinds of courage that you exhibit from time to time, but we often do not pay attention to it. Today, I want to tell you how courageous you actually are, and maybe if you notice the things that I'm talking about, you will see how courageous you truly are. The first kind of courage is physical courage. It is the courage that allows you to keep going and pushing harder and not giving up. This is the courage that you have when you're physically tired. You don't want to do anything anymore, but there is work to be done. So you get up and you push yourself and you keep moving forward because things have to be done and you need to do these things. So physical courage is the courage to face whatever is right in front of you, picking yourself back up and moving forward. This shows resilience. That means you are so determined to finish whatever you've started that no matter how tired you are physically, you have the courage to keep going. The second kind of courage is social courage. This means that you have accepted yourself for whatever you are, the good, the bad, the ugly parts of you, and you are not afraid to be all of you. Social courage is about being yourself unapologetically. You don't have to apologize for being who you truly are. If you are a little bit weird, a little funny, a little different from the rest of the group, it doesn't make you weird or the black sheep. It just makes you different and unique in your own way. And those of us who've accepted ourselves for who we truly are, the weird bits, the black sheep bits, all of those bits, that is who we are, and that is how we want the society to see us. And we do that unapologetically. This is called social courage, which I'm sure most of you already have, but you haven't noticed this about yourself. The third kind of courage is moral courage. That means doing things that you think is right in spite of the popular opinion. So people may oppose whatever you think is right, and they may have other kinds of judgments about it, other kinds of opinions about it. But if you think doing this is the right thing to do and you go ahead and do it, that is called moral courage. Having the guts to do what you think is right is also courage. That means you are stepping up and deciding what is the right thing to do, and you go ahead and still do it in spite of that not being the popular opinion or not being accepted by the society in general. You still go ahead and do that, and that also takes a lot of courage. This is called moral courage. The next kind of courage is the emotional courage. That means that you have accepted all of your emotions and you truly express all of your emotions, whether they're positive or negative, without any guilt or attachment. Attachment is the key here. We're not going to get attached to these emotions. We're going to feel them and then let them go. Even if it is a positive emotion or a negative emotion, we're not going to hold on to it. We're going to be on a very neutral space all of the time. So we feel these emotions, we express these emotions, and then we let them go. This takes a lot of emotional courage. I mean, it sounds very easy, but most of us have a habit of suppressing emotions, especially anger. Anger is like a huge emotion many of us suppress because it is not right to express anger and whatnot. So we kind of suppress it. But the way we use our anger and respond to the situation will make a big difference if you've accepted your emotions and you know how to express them in a constructive manner. So emotional courage is required in these areas of your life when you want to express your feelings, both positive and negative, without feeling guilty about it and without having any sort of attachments towards it. The next kind of courage is the intellectual kind. The intellectual courage requires you to learn, then unlearn, and then relearn with an open and flexible mind. What does it mean? So we tend to grow up learning things while observing our parents or the society in general or our friends circle. Generally we kind of absorb all the information from our surroundings. Then we kind of form opinions, we form barriers, we form limitations based on these experiences, which are not even really our experiences. We kind of pick them up from our society or the surrounding environment we're brought up in. So when you unlearn all of these conditionings that you're conditioned to believe in a certain way of life or certain things that you need to do, when you unlearn all of those belief systems and then choose what works for you and relearn them with an open and flexible mind, your life will become more courageous. Intellectual courage takes a lot from you. It's not as easy as it sounds, because most of us are so strongly rooted in our belief systems that we refuse to change. We think this is right, we've been told this is right, we've experienced that this is right, and that's it. We're not open and we're not flexible enough to bring in new things and new changes into our life. That will not allow us to grow and expand and increase our frequencies. And that is the ultimate goal, isn't it? To increase our frequencies, to become a better version of ourselves. So if we want to become the better version of ourselves, we need to unlearn most of the things that we have already learned and then relearn them with a proper perspective that works for you and your view of life. And this basically will change everything for you. And this also takes a lot of courage, because when we're trying to learn something new, especially for example in my case, when I was trying to talk to people about alternative ways of healing, they looked at me like I was crazy. They said that's not possible. I mean, there is medicines and there are doctors. I mean, why do we need people like you? But then when they did experience one of my healing sessions, they realized that there is more than meets the eye. And that is when they started opening up and trying to unlearn their belief systems that have stopped working for them. So intellectual courage is courage in itself, and it takes a lot to unlearn all those things that you have learned and to relearn something new. Then the last kind of courage is spiritual courage. That means living a meaningful life and living it with purpose, instead of just going about life like it's like any other day and just like wake up and do whatever you want to do, go back to sleep. That is not what living is. Living it with purpose and meaning, and living life from your heart center. That means living with love, essentially. Living with love for everything and everyone around you is the spiritual courage most people require these days. Opening your heart and allowing people to love you is also another thing that needs courage. And also opening your heart to loving others in spite of your opinions towards them also takes a lot of courage. So spiritual courage is living your life with more meaning and more purpose. So instead of just going through the day and going through the week and the month without realizing, oh my God, it's already October, instead of doing that, we are purposefully living each day with meaning and with gratitude, with a lot of love coming from our heart centers. So that makes spiritual courage very, very important in our daily lives, because the more spiritual courage we have, the more we expand our consciousness. That's how we can, connect with everyone around us. We connect from our heart center, from our heart space, and this is what spiritual courage is all about. And when you look at your life now and listen to whatever points I've just made about all the different various kinds of courage that you already have, what do you think you are? Aren't you a courageous person? Well, I think you are, because if you have come so far in your life and you have dealt with all the ups and downs, and with the pandemic and with the lockdowns and with the family during the lockdowns and all of that, it takes a lot of courage to keep moving forward. There are so many of us who just want to throw our hands up in the air and be like, I'm giving up, I can't do this anymore. But I encourage you to find the courage within your heart to keep moving forward. I know sometimes it gets a bit tough, but remember, you have it in you. You have this courage in you already, and you can use this courage to keep moving forward and making your life even more exciting, meaningful, and purposeful. I really appreciate each and every one of you for watching my videos and sharing my videos with your family and friends, and I'm hoping that they are benefiting from these videos. If there are any specific topics you want me to talk about, do leave them in the comments below or directly get in touch with me. You know my handles on Facebook and Instagram, it's Akashik Official, and you can also get in touch with me directly with my phone number, which is available on my website www.achofficial.com. So I will see you soon. So have a magical and beautiful week ahead. Sending you virtual hugs, and I'm going to see you guys very soon.